Hello, this is Stefan from the Infinite Tools developers team in Germany. Today, I'm very honored to show you the Infinite Unify in the version 2. This is a Photoshop plugin, a UXP plugin for the latest version of Photoshop for Mac and PC. It's fully compatible with the Apple M1 and M2 chips. And best of all, it's a free update for all customers of the previous version. So for my first example, I was looking for an image that has a heavy discoloration, and I found this image here. And this is actually not a discoloration, but this skin tone here, where the shadow of the cap is making the skin green, is a good example to show off how amazingly easy it is to fix discolorations, how to use Infinite Unify, and how powerful it really is. So I'm trying to get a natural skin tone for this discoloration. What I do is I just hit create, and the algorithm now selects the skin tones, the good skin tones, analyzes them and put them on a gradient map on a mask that is also based on a skin tone. And so this was my first step. Now in the second step, I'm looking at that skin here and I see these gray lines here. So there's something off with the created gradient. The analyzed colors, I can see them here in the top bar. And I'm looking for one that's off. It's this one. And now if I click this, it's gonna be, well, put into the algorithm again, and it's being replaced by a better color. So now the gradient is really, really good. And I can actually just start painting with a white brush to get back the natural skin tone. And as you can see, it does an amazing job with that. And well, yeah, that's a very good example because it is so amazing what Infinite Unify does with this image. So this is the basic usage. Just hit create, skin tones are analyzed, put on a gradient map, and so you can just start painting with a white brush. This is really, it can't be simpler. If you're looking for a more advanced selection, you can just use a lasso tool and grab the colors you actually like in your image. Make sure to select shadows, highlights, real highlights, midtones. If possible, the whole range, the whole luminosity range, create that selection and hit create. So now it does not select the skin tones, but it takes that selection that you have chosen. So for that area here, where I've selected the colors, it's actually pretty awesome. I see something that is a little bit too saturated, probably this one and this one. So I just click the colors that are off, and so I've got the selection. Now I can just invert that mask and start painting again. And now I can also just fix things like the facial hairs here a little bit, or that makeup here if I want to. But obviously also I can just replace colors that are just colorized and distracting in the image. So it's really a really simple process to fix the color. So if you have a selection, then Infinite Unify won't take the colors from the skin tones. It will just take the colors that you choose. So let's go back to the background layer and choose these green tones. Let's see what happens. There we have some highlights. So select these as well. Hit create. It takes these green ones and puts them on a gradient map. So now if I want to, I can also go in the other direction and just make it a little more green where the natural skin tone is actually shining through. So I can even make that one a little bit more even. So it does not matter what color you have. It does not matter if it's skin tones or not. It's just based on the selection you make. So, and this is a really versatile plugin. So one thing I can show you here is also if you have multiple Unify layers and you select the other one and you hover in the panel or in the plugin panel, then you can see these colors from that layer. And here I can see the colors from that layer. And obviously I can still work on these. So it's a very non-destructive process. So this is an excellent example on what Infinite Unify can do. This image is provided by Susana Gallardo. I hope I pronounced that one right. Newborns usually have these red feet and red discolorations in the skin in general. So Infinite Unify can do a very, very nice job here. So let's just create a new Unify layer. I'm not doing anything by just creating that layer. And if I switch this on and off, you can see how the good color skin is actually also turning a little bit red. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting rid of these magenta tones here in our analyzed colors. Here's a little trick. If you hold down the Alt key, you can select multiple ones. So like this, and then just click one of these selected colors and it will just replace them all at once. And so it's better, but it's not perfect. So it's still a little bit too magenta. So I'm using the U slider here and just bring this a little bit more into the green direction. So now you can see how it takes away all the discoloration and creates a super even skin tone. It's actually a little bit too even, so I'm turning down the opacity. And this is something where I can show you another trick. So 60% is my go-to number. So what I can do is do a right click on the create. And now I can set my opacity, and that's my standard opacity. So every time I will create a Unify layer, it will be created at 60% opacity. I can also change the name and the color of the layer if I want to. So you can really create your personal Unify layer here. So you see, within no time, I fixed all the discoloration in the skin. This is really nice. So this example from Catford Coates is super nice portrait, and it's really super nice lighting, and it's an amazing picture, but it needs some work in color. So there are two things I want to show you. First is the auto open color selection. So if this one is selected, it will open the dialog to select the skin tones, because the dress is very similar to the skin. So Photoshop has a really hard time in creating selection for the skin tones, and even with the dialog open, it won't work. Also, detect faces won't do any changes. So I can switch to sampled colors, and I can just sample colors of the skin. So the mask won't be as good. So I definitely need to paint in some of the color, but it does a very good job in selecting mostly the skin. So then click OK, and it will create a gradient that's actually pretty similar to what's happening in the skin. Maybe get rid of some of these saturated tones here. So like this, maybe these two here, get rid of these as well. And now I can just paint in on the areas where I want to have a little bit of that Infinite Unify effect. Maybe not destroy the makeup here, but just get an even nice skin tone like this. Very simple, very straightforward, very easy. So that's what you can do with the color selection. So there's another thing that I want to show you, and this is the black mask feature. This is the third icon here, create black mask. That means you will just select some skin tone. So now I try to get a warmer tone. So I've got these highlights here, I got the shadows here, and I got these midtones from a warmer spot. So I hit create. The selection will create warmer tones because that's the area that I've selected. I also get a black mask. So now if I paint in, I get this little warmer tone in the skin. If I want that one, it's also really nice. So I can even out the skin, but get also a little bit of a warmer skin tone here, which I also like actually. So it's a matter of the selection, and so you can really just choose whatever you want, and so you get a little bit of a warmer tone here. So with the black mask feature, this is really convenient because you get this black mask and then you can just paint your own selection in, and the color range selector will open the dialog if you hit create. So in this example, this is such a nice image from Meet Nenrik. This one I pronounced wrong. Definitely, this is really a nice image, and we have a lot of discoloration going on here with the baby. So I'm going to show you the way I would do it. So I just create a selection here, and because of Infinite Unify is a luminosity based plugin, I need to fix the luminosity first. So rough selection, create a curves layer, activate the hand here, and with the hand I can just click into the image and just pull here, and I'm trying to get roughly the same brightness here. So now let's make the mask white. Shut that layer off, and now I'm selecting a skin tone here of the older one and use the Infinite Unify to create the Unify layer. So with that one I've got a really nice skin tone, and with that one I've got this really nice the fixed coloration. So put both into a group and create a black mask for the group. So now all I need to do is to paint in with a white brush, obviously, into the baby's head to fix the color and the brightness at once. So it's really simple, it's really fast, and it creates a nicer image. Try to not paint too much on the lips so they don't get the skin tone, but you don't need to be super precise here. That's not necessary. It's really nice, really very fast. And now if you look for before and after, this is really, it's an easy job actually with Infinite Unify because it does such a good job with the skin tones.